Welcome to the Typical Skeptic Podcast, where we dive deep, you decide. Questioning the matrix, from UFOs where the shadows are known reside. Rob Khalil busting myths like ghosts in the night. Paranormal pros, secret space ops, yo, we keep it real, no fright. Typical skeptical, seeking, never sleeping on the lies. Aliens, Anunnaki, black ops in disguise. From abductions to ancient scripts, we flip the script wide. TSP style, mile after mile, truth can't hide. Hold up, TSP crew assemble, we dismantle the fable. My lab's targeted souls, breaking out of the stable. Dogman, Howlin', Bigfoot, prowling, cryptids in the mist. Mandela, the fifth twist in reality, can't resist the twist. Soul trap, snapping, reincarnation mapping, holographic dreams. Near-death visions, out-of-body missions, waking up the teams. No censorship here, we fear no elite scheme. Conspiracy kings, ringing bells, hear the freedom ring. The skeptical seeking, never sleeping on the lies. Extraterrestrials, interdimensional highs.
Welcome to Typical Skeptic Podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Typical Skeptic Podcast. An early show today, but we have with us Gina Virginia Cassell. I'm joined by Gina Virginia Cassell, entrepreneur, hypnotherapist, transformational practitioner, creative visionary, and the force behind the Dragon Dream Soul Collective. Gina is a licensed rapid transformational therapy practitioner and clinical hypnotherapist, as well as an advanced master energy medicine practitioner. Before moving into this work, she spent part of her professional life as a public school teacher and union advocate. Her creative and spiritual projects include Project 30, Isis Unity Consciousness, Dragon Dreams projects, and her ongoing conference series, The Story Species Story Medicine, The Continuum of Consciousness Evolution. Today, we're going deep into Gina's upcoming September gathering, Falling Consciously, what inspired it, what the phrase actually means, what speakers and ideas coming together for the event, and the larger vision of creating community around the conscious evolution. I'll also be appearing as one of the speakers at the conference, so we're going to get into what you can expect as the event kicks off in September. Gina, welcome back to the show, and I'm adding her to the stage now. Yeah, I'm excited for this. Gina, thanks so much for coming back on. How are you?
Hi, everybody. Good to be here. Thank you for having me back. Yep, I'm an early bird, so I was thankful that we were able to go a bit earlier today, and I'm really looking forward to the upcoming conference, Falling Consciously, this Saturday, September 19th, 2026, and Rob is going to be presenting, so that's really cool. Those of you who are not familiar with the behind-the-scenes story, I actually asked Rob to speak at the first conference that I hosted, and he was like, I'm not there on my journey. And then I asked him again at the second conference. And then randomly in the middle of the night, Rob messaged me and he was like, okay, I'm going to be a speaker at your conference now. So I was like, okay. So I'm really thrilled about that. It's important that people at my conference are representing everybody because I need to see my own reflection in the Dragon Dream Soul Tribe Collective because we're all going through these experiences. You're not alone, and we get you. We're your soul tribe, the Dragon Dream Soul Tribe Collective. So even though our experiences might vary, all of us have them. So why don't I put it on screen share and I can show you my Buy Me a Coffee. There's a post that went out this morning.
Sounds good. Good.
Oops. Accidentally pulling up an image. That's not what I wanted to do. Okay, put it on screen share here. So it's absolutely free to follow me on Buy Me a Coffee, and then you get in on the emails and whatnot. You can also follow me for free in my Facebook group, the Dragon Dreams Soul Tribe Collective. Okay, so you can see it there. Okay, so this is my Buy Me a Coffee. The link is in the chat. There's the home page. If you mosey on over to post, this is where you'll see I post here almost every day. So if you get in on the emails, this is what you would get. This one here, the top left, went out this morning. So it was a big one. So I'm working with Pole Energy. You can learn all about the Dragon Dream Soul Tribe Collective, who we are. For what it's worth, it brought me great joy to be the visionary and host of the first ever Story Species, Story Medicine, the Continuum of Conscious Evolution Conference series. I know it's a big title, but what other series would we be talking about, right? And so each one is in alignment with the 4 seasons. So we had Promise of Spring, we had Summer Days, now we're having Falling Consciously. The 4th one will be in December, Season of Dreams. And this is important to me because it's in direct alignment with the equinox and solstice. So there's a lot of layers and undertones with each conference. Falling Consciously is important to me because we all fall. It's like that tarot card, the Tower. So the tarot card, the Tower, the gist of it basically means that, you know, you build your hopes and dreams, you build your life, you live it, but at some point it falls because it's temporary. So, okay, yeah, you do repairs and you do maintenance, but at some point the whole tower just crumbles, whether you want it to or not. So the life lesson is don't cling. The life lesson is remembering Snake. Teach us to shed the past the way you shed your skin. Help us to walk the beauty way. Help us to walk softly. So when you live consciously, you can die consciously, right? And not a lot of people can say that. Like if right here, right now, you died, are you dying consciously? What does that even mean? It means like, have you checked off your list? Have you said your I love yous and your I forgive yous? Are you at peace with yourself? Are you even living your life the way you want to live it, or is life living you? So when you live consciously, you can die consciously. And when you fall less hard, which is a huge message that I'm sending out to everybody, because again, we all fall. So if you're going to fall, you want to fall as softly as possible. That means you got to live consciously. In order to get back up, if you live consciously, you can get back up with more ease. So I really enjoy these play on words, especially because the conference is called Story Species, Story Medicine. It's really fun to get into the literacy devices, the metaphors, and the personification of the world around us. So creating safer spaces for the Dragon Dream Soul Tribe Collective, letting people know that they're not alone, that we have a collective. There's lots of us out there. This is the logo that's floating around today. The conference, it's all rooted in my own dreams, half remembered, half misunderstood. So I have an oracle deck that I've published. I've published 8 books. There's a lifetime more coming. I host a show, Story Species, Story Medicine. The speakers on my show typically become dragon speakers, and you can bet I've got Rob plugged in. I forget when, but it's going to be on a Thursday really soon. And the bottom corner here, Project 30, Isis Unity Consciousness, that's all my content merging together. So my dream life has bridged with my waking life, and the world around me is the oracle. The world in me is the oracle. So these are our speakers. You can see Rob there, the bottom center. So I'll just start with Laird Scranton here, the top left. This is the order, by the way, that the Dragon speakers are going to be presenting in. Really excited about it. We've got Laird Scranton. This guy's an expert. Anything you want to know about ancient civilizations, cosmology, sacred geometry, symbolism, the Dogon Priests, this guy is the guy to talk to. So he is a primordial creation expert. What does that mean? It means like, how did the world and the solar system even come about? How does the material and non-material come together to take on life as we know it? Those kinds of questions. And so Laird's role is very interesting. because he has all these conversations with everybody, and he keeps his own personal perspective out, and then he works with the metaphors from long ago and makes connections about why things might make sense or not make sense. And so when people are translating like ancient codes and stuff like that, this information is very handy because Laird is somebody that can say with certainty, yes, this symbol means this. No, it doesn't mean that. Well, if that symbol was used in this context, well, then it could mean this. And so it's very interesting. There's so much to say about every speaker. I'll just move on. Leon Southgate, this guy is also an expert. I just hosted Leon yesterday on my show, Story Species, Story Medicine. I could have talked to this guy forever. Okay. Leon is also a personal friend of Julia Ankerhaven. So that was a little connection there. And it's always nice when it's somebody, you know, within the community. Leon is an expert. If you want to know anything about energy or chakra, sound, vibrations, this is your guy. He studies things like the weather. You know how people talk about natural man-made disasters and stuff like that. He talks about cloud busting. Leon is very interesting to have conversations with because he used Africa as an example. He doesn't see why a place like Africa, parts of Africa that are very dry and barren, why they can't be flourishing with forests just like North America. But of course, people who are power hungry, control hungry, they wouldn't like that, right? And so it's interesting having conversations with people like Leon who are promoting things like humanity, promoting things like peace on earth, goodwill towards men, sharing, equality, water rights. You know, he researches people who their research was hidden away. So the things that he's doing, nobody else has done it before. It's very fresh research. And if you tune into my show, yesterday, there was links that were provided and whatnot. So Leon Southgate, he's an academic researcher specializing in acupuncture, biophysical, orgonomy, cloudbusters, and the weather. So he also has written books. Dan Armstrong, my good friend, he's going to be presenting as well. Dan likes to focus on things that are not popular, that are on the fringe. He likes to ruffle feathers, if you will. He likes to speak the truth. Metaphorically, he likes to get his hands dirty. He likes to investigate. And he's really raw, too, you know, talking about things like hopes and dreams. Like, what does it even mean to hope? What does it even mean to dream, you know? And so challenging like Dan has this really great ability where he can really flip-flop your thinking, really get you to see the positive and the negative, and then bring it together, that Venn diagram in between space. So
I was going to say Dan's
go ahead.
Also, yeah, he's an expert in etymology too. He studied like the Pierre Sabak material, which is like, it's like it's like etymology related to ufology, like the etymology of words and how that goes back to ufology and like fallen angels and angels. It's really interesting stuff, you know.
Yeah, I feel like Dan and Laird would really get along together just because of that, because that's Laird Scranton. Like, you know, the dad on My Big Fat Greek Wedding, how he's always like, this word means this, and this is like, that's Laird Scranton. You know, it's like the root of everything. And Dan too, right? So so this is really cool because I was just chatting with Sheila Spiral Sister Murray, who was a speaker at the last conference, returning this one. I'll show you her shortly there, about how people are connecting, just being in the conference, the speakers still connecting with each other from last time. So yeah, and Dan is very open about being a MyLab survivor and his experiences with the paranormal. The bottom left here, we've got Daryl James, U.S. Navy veteran and Solar Warden pilot. Daryl's going to share his information about the secret space program. His presentation is called Daryl James, like it's his name, and he's going to take you through his story where he experienced a lot of gaslighting and important for him to speak his truth and to share his story medicine. This guy right here in the middle, Rob Khalil, truth seeker, full disclosure, producer and host of the Typical Skeptic podcast. Rob's going to talk about the Anunnaki. And do you want to talk a little bit about that, Rob?
Yeah, it's gonna be a really interesting presentation. I'm gonna pull from like a lot of different sources. Like a lot of people, when they think about like the story of the Anunnaki, they think of like Zachariah Sitchin. Well, it's like that, like he was a pioneer, right? But I mean, like there's a lot of like other like ancient Assyriologists who transcribed the Sumerian tablets, and then there's new researchers like Freddie Silva, who I just had on my show again, who's done some really like cutting edge research on like who the Anunnaki were. So I'll be pulling from all different sources and putting together a picture of what our true history might have been or closer to it. Even people like Jason from Archaics, who has a different theory about the Anunnaki. Some people think they're from inner Earth. Some people think they're extraterrestrials, interdimensionals. I'll be putting all that together. You know what I mean? So I'll give it like a smorgasbord of information on them, and like hopefully come to like some kind of clear. Yeah, it's going to be something like that, if that makes any sense. Yeah.
Yep. And for what it's worth, all of the presenters, including Rob, just this Sunday that passed midnight, they had to tell me what their titles were, what their presentation descriptions are. So I'm going to be updating things behind the scenes as well. And I think that's really cool. Freddie Silva, I love him. I watched plenty of that guy on Gaia, and he is a wealth of knowledge. I'm definitely going to have to catch that replay. So that's really cool. Rob's going to be presenting, and between each presenter is a 20-minute break. This is online. And then Joshua Shapiro, he's really known for crystal skulls, being an investigator of the paranormal. However, his life has a new matrix unfolding now, the Gateway of Light. So his wife passed away a few years ago, and to make a long story short, he was gifted the Gateway of Light. So the Gateway of Light has always existed. His wife, now crossed over in angelic form, is in communication with him. And then there's other parties involved, if you will. And the Gateway of Light is gifted to Joshua to now be the visionary of and to make this all happen. And it has to do with like the future and moving on as a community. So I'm really excited about that. Here's Sheila, Spiral Sister Murray. So some people are like, no fair. How come Sheila gets to be back in the conference and I don't? Because it's important for me, especially because it's only the third conference, that I don't have repeat people, right? I mean, it might happen. But this is kind of a loophole because I needed somebody to take care of the music part. And I reached out to Sheila because my window was closing and I still didn't have anybody. And so she was a speaker at the last conference, and that's why she gets to be a healer at this one, but not a speaker. And I'm really complimented too, because behind the scenes, the presenters, like all of them, would absolutely adore to be presenting in my conference again. And they've all basically let me know, even if it's like right last minute, to reach out to them. So that's a testament to the success of the conference, the community building that's going on behind the scenes. And it's really exciting because both Julia Ankerhaven and Michael Kopf host shows, right? And so all the people on my conference end up going on their shows too. And so the community just builds, and then they get more opportunity to talk about other passions that they have, right? So Sheila, Spiral Sister Murray, it's really exciting. She created 2 short songs for me. And something that we talked about was, you know, when it comes to healing, we tend to think of like the gongs and the bowls, and we slow it right down. And we wanted to create something that was a bit more dancey feeling. So it's going to create like a nice lighter energy, get people feeling pumped up. So I like that, just really change. Yeah, just about done here with my little promo. Thank you. There's our Dragon monitors. They've been consistent. Julia Ankerhaven, Michael Kopf, and Jason H. So it's really handy to have them. And just ongoing, again, the community building. There's me, Gina Virginia Casella, the Dragon visionary behind it all. I do all kinds of things, folks. Gemstone readings, energy medicine. I host conferences now. This is our schedule. And I run a tight ship. So we start at 8:30, the virtual doors, if you will. They open at 8:30. And it'll just be me hanging out. We've got a 9 a.m. prompt start. So probably at 5:02, I'll just log off. And at 9 a.m., boom, my welcome video will start playing and whatnot. We've got a nice agenda here. It's been tried, tested. We set precedents the first 2 conferences. So I know this schedule works and people really liked it. It really flowed. We're going to open sacred space, light some candles, journey to the pine tree forest. I'll make a little presentation about Project 30 and what that means, reiterate who the Dragon Dream Soul Tribe Collective are. And then before you know it, Sheila's up, Lared's our keynote speaker, and then we've got 20-minute breaks between each speaker. So then we've got Leon, Dan, Daryl, Rob, Joshua. And then before you know it, I'll be thanking you. We'll be closing sacred space, returning from the pine tree forest. So it's a big day. If you really want to see Rob, you want to make sure you don't miss Rob. Rob's presenting 3:10 p.m. Eastern time. And like I said, I run a tight ship. So all of the presenters in anticipation, in case we have tech issues, last minute, unforeseen circumstances, they have to provide me with their presentation so I can pull it up on my end. And each presenter is submitting a pre-recorded video. They got to practice anyways, right? Might as well hit the record button. And so if for some reason we're having tech issues or whatnot, the show will go on. So that's very important to me. And I've received countless compliments about it. So I really appreciate everybody's support. I'm completely on my own here doing this. And if you're interested in being on my executive committee, please reach out. So, whoops, didn't mean to click on that there. If you are feeling excited and you want to buy your conference ticket right now, you just go right here to my Buy Me a Coffee. It's very affordable. This is Canadian dollars. There's also some freebies here.
So it's like, it'll probably be like 45 American. That's right. Or something like that. Something like that, I think. I don't know.
Yeah. If you join my membership, I'll just go to memberships here very quickly. There is a membership, Project 30 Isis Unity Consciousness. And this is in the write-up when you buy your ticket too. So make sure you read all the information. There's a membership here. I work with Pull Energy, so you can read up on the membership, but it's worth noticing one of the bonuses, yes, plural bonuses, is that it includes a free link to my conferences. So if you follow my content all the time, you might just want to get in on membership Project 30. But if you're like, you know what, I just want to attend the conference only, no problem. You can go here to my BMAC shop, Falling Consciously. If you're feeling excited about purchasing Season of Dreams, you can purchase that one too. So right here, there's the write-up. Again, it brought me great joy to be the visionary and host of the first ever. This is going to be our 3rd round now. There was a lot of integrity, authenticity, respect, the demeanor of the presenters and healers. And it was a real win-win situation because the presenters provided story medicine, but the participants, the actual audience, provided a space which created a projection reflection of healing between the presenters and the participants. So it was really special. And I recognize that there's a lot of dragon dreamers out there. This is just not even possible for them because they don't live in communities that are in right relationship. So I have a discount code here. G Casella. But Rob, you've got a little discount code too. So why don't I turn that over to you now and you can let people know about that?
Yeah, so if you guys go and you buy your ticket from Gina's site, you can use my coupon code. It's RobCal, Rob KAL, and I'll be putting that link in the description today, and then probably the description of every one of my videos leading up to the conference. So you'll be able to access it at the bottom where all my affiliate links are. Like all my affiliate links are on Rumble because I can't post some of them on YouTube, but this is one I can post on YouTube and Rumble. So this will probably be on every link that you see from now until the conference, so it'll be easy to access, but it's easy to remember too. It's like my name, Rob Cal, Rob KAL, all one thing, ROBKAL. Just put that in at the checkout when you go to buy your ticket, and it helps me and it helps Gina, and yeah, thank you. Yeah. Oh, you're muted. Something happened.
Thank you for that. So my discount code is in there, just so people know there is a code available, but know that every presenter was provided with one. So if you want to see Rob present, ask Rob, what's your discount code? Because then you get to save money, and then I pay Rob some money too. That's how it works. It's a bit of an incentive for the presenters so that they can get people. This for me is really important because the best marketing is organic marketing, word of mouth. And I work with serious pull energy. And what's really interesting is the first conference, because there's 4 each year, Promise of Spring will always be free. But in my book series, it's predicted it's going to generate the most money because over the years, people just want to be part of the hype. They just, you know what? When you have somebody promoting community, creating safer spaces, that's appealing to people. People want to get in on it, and then people get in on it. And I've got lots of big hopes and dreams. I've disclosed things in my books that I haven't disclosed publicly. And that's intentional because I'm wondering who's reading my books. When will this all come together? And there's just so much to say. So thank you for letting me say all of that because it is a lot to take in. So I hope I answered any questions. If anybody has questions or needs clarification, put them in the chat. And that schedule that I have, probably in the next few days, I'll be cutting and pasting the titles and description links. So hi, Missing Time 420. I see you there in the chat.
Yeah, that's the thing. Thanks for posting the link, Jason. That's awesome. I'm trying to think.
Hashtag I see you and others.
Let me see what questions I have. So what inspired you to make the title, what you titled it this time? Like, do you think there will be a theme of the conference?
Right. So this is our first year in. So my intention is that as the years roll by, the theme of the conference is always going to be the same. So like Falling Consciously in September is always going to be called Falling Consciously. Promise of Spring, Summer Days, Season of Dreams, those names are never going to change. It's just the year that will change. And my intention is that as the years go by, that we make it a point to have speakers that focus more on the themes, right? So each theme is like an umbrella, and then the speakers ideally would speak within that theme, right?
Yeah.
Falling Consciously in particular, that's what I was talking about earlier when we first kicked off today's show. Living consciously so you can fall consciously. We all fall. Might as well fall with your soul tribe, right? People who get you. So it's really important. And fall is very important because it's that in-between space, like the spring. Fall is also very important because winter is coming. Winter doesn't ask to come. Winter comes. Sometimes it comes a little early. Sometimes it comes a little late. And the onus is on us to be paying attention so that we can prepare for it. And that's all part of living consciously so you can fall consciously, ultimately, so you can die consciously. And like I stated before, when you get back up, you can get back up with more ease. So when I think of like literary themes, stories have beginning, middle, ends. Stories are full of rhyming words, puns, riddles, all of that stuff is being highlighted because we're the story species. This is our medicine. So we're going to be coming together as a community to take medicine. But instead of taking pills or something like that, we're sharing stories. It's a listening and receiving, a speaking and a sharing. And this weaving back and forth is all part of it. And there's another prediction as well that people by default are going to start carving pieces of wood and whatnot, making paintings, creating dances. Somebody out there is going to create a ballet based on my book series. So if that's you, I want a ticket for front row center. Okay, whoever out there does that. And there's lots to say, lots of planning for the future. This is just the beginning of it all.
Yeah. Do you think telling our personal stories can change us psychologically or spiritually, or have an effect on us?
Absolutely. Absolutely, because how you think and feel is so important that it literally causes you to have ailments, or you can inspire your own healing. So that's how powerful we are. And when we share our story medicine, especially about this kind of context where a lot of us feel like we're losing our minds, you're not losing your mind. These experiences, we all experience them. And that in itself is a huge shift for a lot of people. A lot of people, when they're children, they share their spiritual experiences, and the parents will tell them, no, you didn't experience that. Excuse me? No, you didn't hear or see that. Like, what? Or, oh, yeah, you might have saw that, but it's within this framework. I think I know what I saw. And it's people gaslight us so much, we end up gaslighting ourselves, right? So somebody was asking about catering. It's an online conference. We do talk about snacks and whatnot. It's a big part of our community group chat that we have on the go. And I was hopeful to host an in-person conference this summer, but it was a little bit too last minute. I was a bit too ambitious. And I was advertising that we were going to cut the conference short. We were going to have like maybe, I was going to be the only speaker. So I was going to do like live hypnotherapy session, and then everybody was going to go meet at a restaurant. But that's the intention, that we do one conference in person. So there would be like 5. So hi, Julia. Hope you're having a good trip there. So just distracted by the chat.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah, so really exciting, really exciting. Lots of new people tuning in. Julia Anchorhaven, that's one of our presenters there in Missing Time 420. So I was showcasing that earlier, their pictures.
Yeah. And I think it's important to support this conference, guys, because, we're all trying to, everybody that you see that's trying to, do this podcasting and that it comes on screen for you. We're all trying to live our dreams, but not just live our dreams, but like, make it in this like spiritual community. And it's not easy, you know what I mean? So like, if we all support the creators, and we all support each other, I think that will go a lot further for us, in the long run. It's good for your soul too.
We really need to support each other because, for people like us, we talk about this kind of stuff and it's like, yeah, whatever, but for a lot of people, this is so taboo that sometimes I even forget that. It's just a firm no. And then how can people be authentic? And what ends up happening is we start coping as a strategy, but when does coping transform into suffering? That's when you get a big problem. That's when people start having mental health issues and whatnot because they're gaslighting themselves. It's really important that I have people like Rob as a presenter because Rob hosts a show consistently having people on talking about this kind of stuff, right? So if anybody out there wants to be a dragon speaker, please reach out to me because I would absolutely adore to have you. I'm reaching out to anybody. You can have an academic background, like, Laird Scranton, for example, or you can have absolutely no background. Maybe you don't even have your high school, but you have a story to tell. Reach out to me because it's important that all the speakers have different backgrounds and ranges so that we can see our reflections in each other. And it's important that we have different speakers all of the time. Like I said, sometimes we might have to have like a returning speaker because maybe I can't find somebody or whatever, but it's really important that there is high turnover rate to make a point that look at all the new people that Gina's having. She's not having repeat speakers. Basically, the rest of my life, it's going to be a different speaker list every single time. So it's really important that we come together. And I say this all the time, like even myself, like I've had people message me and tell me, oh, Gina, I love you. I love your show, but I'm never going to like or subscribe. I'm never going to sign up for anything. I'm never going to share. Okay, thanks. But it's like, I get it, because if their family or employer see that they're liking, supporting this kind of content, that's a problem. And, you know, we all like to have this idea that, oh, well, you know, if I can't be my authentic self, I'm just going to walk off the job. I'm not going to put up with this crap, right? Yeah, wrong. When you have to pay for your children's and food and shelter, right? You're not going to. So this is all part of the control, I feel, which really inhibits the growth. So I just feeling passionate in this moment because recently that happened. Somebody sent me a message. Somebody sent me a beautiful message about a hypnotherapy session I had with them. And I'm like, can you make a review, like share that with the public? And I never heard back from them. So it's just, you know, I even had somebody tell me privately that they really enjoy my conferences, but they can't publicly share that because it would cause a conflict with somebody else that they help. You know what I mean? So there's like a lot of layers here that I'm rising above personally, because this isn't about views or money. This is about community. That's the currency of the heart. So, you know, we just need money to like pay for the things so that I can create posters in the background, pay for the internet connection. And that's why it's predicted why Promise of Spring is going to generate the most money, even though it's free. Because there's a lot of people, a lot of dragons out there who have like no money. They're homeless. They could never afford to go to something like this. Then there's dragons who have lots of money and it's actually a burden for them. They don't know what to do with their money, or it's old money. They don't want it, but they don't know what to do with it. And at some point it just breaks and like the water flows in, the money flows in, and then the wheels really start to turn. So yeah, today is Julia's day 21. So that was really awesome. I sent Julia a message. Julia is an ideal client. She came to see me for weight loss, but we discovered she doesn't have a problem with weight. She has a problem with feeling safe. So not choosing Pepsi translated into feeling safe. And so the weight's going to be melting off of Julia. I'm excited about that. I've got another session booked with her. And I really appreciate Julia sharing her process, because a lot of my clients, they don't say anything. And
it's amazing what we can do with the mind, right? And that's kind of what you're trained to like to help people like manifest things into reality that like they want to see come to fruition, right?
And Julia's being funny in the chat saying, guys, send me money if it burdens you, okay? Send me money too, everybody. If you find that it's a burden, just put it in my BMAC. No problem. I'll take it. But you know what? I think when people come and see somebody like me, they don't realize just how much of a change it makes. That's why it's called rapid transformational therapy, hypnotherapy. Marissa Peer is the one behind it. And I feel too like people are kind of scared. They don't want to jinx it. You know, it's too good to be true almost. But for some of my clients, it's been 4, 5, 6 years now. One girl that I helped lose weight, her real name is Monica. That's all I can tell you. And she does provide a testimony that you can listen to on my YouTube. And as the years were going by, like just, a few years, I was like, she doesn't post a lot of pictures on Facebook. She's one of those people, she has the same profile picture for like 10 years. And I thought, is that a family member or something that, looks like her? No, that's her. So I'd message her and I'd tell her, you're looking good. And then like more months would go by and be like, you're looking good. Like it's worth noticing. And then one day she posted a picture and I was like pissed off about it. I'm like, God, she looks so good. I messaged her and I'm like, Monica, you got to change your profile picture. Like that profile picture, I don't even know who that is anymore. That's how much of a change that people see in themselves. So it's very wonderful, very wonderful.
Absolutely. What about like humanity evolving consciously? Like, do you believe where do you think we're at with that? Oh, okay, let me ask you this way. What does consciousness, what does conscious evolution mean to you? And where do you think humanity currently is in that process?
Conscious evolution to me is living consciously so you can die consciously. You're not just living life aimlessly, you're setting goals, you're manifesting, you're planting seeds, you're keeping up with the hopes and dreams. Does that mean that your life is perfect? No, but you're living consciously. So you're taking charge of your Akashic record. I read a great quote the other day. If I had a better memory recall, I would tell you it, but it was something like your body is an Akashic record. The way you look, the way you think and feel is an Akashic record, because your body is based on the last 1,000 meals that you've eaten, and your thoughts, feelings, opinions are based on the last, 10,000 conversations. It was a really good quote. So for me, living consciously is that awakening that we do, that lifting of the veil. Now, that lifting of the veil, we tend to think of that as bridging worlds, like the ghost world, something like that. But the lifting of the veil is also, for me, representative of like taking off the sunglasses, taking off the blinders, looking at your raw reality. Your mind's number one job is to lie to you, even if it means creating false inhibiting beliefs. Like you need to be large and overweight and fat in order to protect yourself. Like it doesn't make sense. But at that one little moment in your life, it did make sense. So the future to me seems very scary, and yet there's a lot of hope in that scariness. And so I just remind myself, feeling scared and feeling excited are the same feelings. The future, we could have conversations about extinction and whatnot. For me personally, when I think about the future, I don't see flying cars. You know what I mean? I actually see like a camping kind of lifestyle that we live. And it's not because we live in poverty. It's just that's the future. It's like more sustainable. And there's a lot... like the technology, we're the technology. So in the future, we don't like watch TV or anything, because we watch ourselves. We watch the birds fly by. That's the world. And there's a lot of power and simplicity. And we're just starting to understand the mind. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah,
and energy medicine is the future. So this business of taking pills and whatnot, that's always going to be there. There's always going to be like homemade remedies. It's nice to have it in a capsule, just, for seasonal purposes or whatever, just like you would do with your canning and preserves. But energy medicine, sound healing, all of that stuff is the future. In fact, it's the now, it's the ancient past. And the ancient past is the future. The ancient future is what a lot of folks are calling it. And this business of co-dreaming the world into being. So,
yeah. Are you? It seems like you have a big array of like topics. Like it looks like everything from like spirituality to ancient civilizations to experiencer testimony. Did you kind of want to kind of plan it for it that way, or like did it kind of just kind of happen that way? And are you excited about the different guests and what they're going to bring to the
Yes, so
conference?
I'm really excited about the guests. To be honest, I was shy to reach out to Laird Scranton. I've been following him for years now. I've read 3 of his books. It's worth noting I don't buy multiple books by the same author because I find they all sound the same, and Laird's is not like that. Each book is very distinguished, and he might mention another book and just quickly remind you like what the theme of the book was, but he's not going to like start taking the next 20 pages. No, like some other authors do. So that was really cool, like just in my own little Gina world, breaking out of my own shell, reaching out to people that I admire. And I don't have a science background. It was really cool chatting with Leon Southgate yesterday, and the humility from me telling them I don't have a science background, so I'm not even really sure how to ask my question. They gave me that time and space to think, and then it was really cool. I don't remember what else you asked me. I'm having a brain fart right now.
I said, are you excited about
The diversity. Yeah. So, okay. So because we're story species, story medicine, you can take that with any story. I specifically want to focus on the esoteric, controlled remote viewing, experiencer stories, angels, ET. That's my ball game. In the future, because this is my priority, but in the future, I'm open to hosting a conference for like murdered and missing children or something like that. But at this time, those are not the themes that I'm focusing on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So when I advertised, it had to be specific to esoteric. And I was open to including things like technology because that's part of like esoteric. And I'm open to including things like sustainability, environmental resources. But right now I'm not focusing on like domestic violence, for example. But those stories, somebody who was adopted now has a story about how they're, maybe finding their blood family members or whatever. Those stories are all valid. And those stories are powerful story medicine. And we need to hear those stories. So that's something to look forward to in the future. But at this time, the focus is just on like those topics. And because we're new, I'm pretty much willing to take anybody who's willing to present. So this is a good time. And it's important that the speakers are talking about different things, and it's just a matter of time before I'll have a wait list of speakers. So this is a good time.
Yeah, and I'm really excited for you gave me the opportunity, and like my presentation is going to be like no one has ever done a presentation on the Anunnaki. Like I saw my friend Rock Castaldo's in the chat. Like I'm going to talk with him. Like I'm going to get like the perspectives of all the like new researchers, like Paul Wallace from the Fifth Kind, Freddie Silva, Matt LaCroix, Rock Castaldo, Jason Brashears from Archaics. Like, and if I can't get a personal statement from them, I'll get like, look into their research online, and I'm going to put it all together with the ancient text too, like stuff that like ancient Assyriologists, what they transcribed. And then to put a clear picture together to show people the different theories out there about the Anunnaki and like ancient history and like what different people are saying. So it's going to be a really, it's going to be really interesting for sure, to say the least.
Yeah, it sounds really interesting, and the Anunnaki, like people love talking about Anunnaki, ancient Egyptians, codes, ETs, especially like how people travel, get around, sarcophaguses. Like there's too much to say really, but it's your story medicine, right? So it's nice that you're going to be highlighting other researchers, but don't forget to really shine your light because you have your own thoughts, feelings, and opinions, right? So
yeah,
you want people to listen to your presentation and really hear your perspective. And then if people want to read more, then you can drop those names and they can read more, right?
Yeah.
Or you might want to create like a diagram. And the thing too is like folks like Rob only have 35 minutes, right? So you can really only pick like one thing. You have your beginning, your middle, your end. You make a few points, it's over, right?
Yeah.
So don't feel overwhelmed either to try and cover like everything. Less is always more. And I've done this conference twice now successfully. So, and you know what's funny too, is the behind the scenes. There's always the behind the scenes. So behind the scenes is like really hit and miss. It was a lot of miss in the beginning, but now I'm getting more hits, if you will. And it's funny because most of the presenters have openly complained about this 35-minute limit, right? But then all of the presenters have all commented openly that it was like ideal that it was 35 minutes maximum, because in truth, they were able to take something exactly like what you were saying, narrow it down with a focus, and then it had a very clear, and that's the point, clear. We're bringing clarity here. It's got a beginning, a middle, and an end. We're not taking a big deep dive. And that's something in the future too. That's very possible. It's just a matter of selling the tickets to support what I'm doing. It's very possible. Something that I would like to do is have like a 2 or 3 day conference. So on the first day, it's like 35-minute presentations. But then imagine the next day, you know, Rob coming back and the other presenters, and now you can go spend time like with 3-4 hours with them in the morning, take an hour lunch break, come back, spend another 2 hours or whatever. Because it seems like people do desire that deep dive, right? So there's tons to look forward to. And then, oh yeah, it's funny too, because behind the scenes, some of the more experienced presenters, and even like people like Dan, who's a teacher like myself, he was like, well, aren't you going to have like he had an expectation that the presentations would be something like 30 to 40 minutes long, you know, and I provide all these due dates and I tell everybody, if you want to give me everything all at once, great, you know, but you can also choose to follow the due date schedule. And one of the presenters, I was a little bit intimidated to tell him that he needed like a due date schedule. And then he told me, he was like, no, he's like, I need that. And he told me he wouldn't have been able to publish his books otherwise if he didn't have somebody in his life like me that had like a due date schedule to help keep him on track. And so this, even like behind the scenes that's going on, is becoming really good story medicine that I wasn't anticipating, because it's reassuring people who don't have that experience that this is very normal to have like a 30 to 40 minute presentation, like without going into a big deep dive. And also, for what it's worth, like the research shows after about 5 to 7 minutes, you've lost your audience. It's nothing personal. It's just people tune in and out, you know, so yeah, and I missed a lot of the comments, but thanks, B Missile, the conference. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. You know, it's going to be awesome.
Hopefully
and we do an online tech rehearsal too. We just to make sure our technology is working. You know, it's optional, so the presenters don't have to come. But at least I can say I've given everybody an opportunity to make sure that they feel comfortable going online, pulling up their presentations. You know, I'm just getting excited now, but I think you were going to say something, Rob.
No, I'm just excited. I want to get a bunch of people that, you know, when it come to this, and like, you know, like, you know, I want everybody to, you know, be a part of it. And like I said, you know, it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be awesome. Honestly, I really do.
And for what it's worth, it's like a 6-hour day. It really flies by, you know. And like I said, because it's an online conference, we don't have a lunch break. It's online. You can have your snacks right beside you, you know. But I do give a 20-minute break just to give people time to, because people don't want to miss things, you know. They stress out about like, when is the break? I got to go to the bathroom, you know, or maybe they got to, make a phone call and they're waiting. So you know in advance, you're going to have 20-minute break in between each presenter. And then it also makes me help to stay on track just in case we do fall behind a little 5 minutes or whatever. It was so funny at the first conference, we had Alex Lipton presenting. So literally saying thank you to him, wrapping up the Q&As, all of a sudden he lost his internet connection. So then we were about to say, okay, well, whatever, let's move on, you know, but then he was able to come back on, but then it took a few minutes or whatever. So it just reinforced to me that I was glad to have that like 20-minute space in between, you know. And then just for funsies, I make these like 3 to 5 minute videos to play during the break. So I keep flip-flopping what I'm going to do this round. And it's nice to have that break too, because when the presenters are presenting, everybody's pretty focused. But then it's nice to see the chat become really alive. Michael, Julia, and Jason, they're in there connecting with everybody. And people get in on the snack hype. You know, we remind people to stay hydrated. People let us know that they're doing their stretches, what kind of food they're eating. So it's like there's this nurturing going on as well. And it's so over before you even, like, I've got my checklist here and I'm like eating my snacks and you don't, like, from your perspective, I'm just hanging out, but behind the scenes, I'm very active here. And so I rely heavily on my monitors just to take care of the chat, and they do a phenomenal job. And I'm really thankful for them, especially these beginning stages, right? That first conference as well, really setting the precedence. So I really appreciate that.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Let me see here. I have more questions. Did you want to talk a little bit about the Dragon Dreams, and like what you've been doing with that? And like, and your Oracle deck.
I'm actually relocating, so I've got like all my stuff boxed up, but I do have the Oracle deck here handy, and I will pull one card for the collective at some point. But so all of my books, basically what happened is I have all these interesting dreams, right? There's too much to say, but the Dragon Dreams Soul Tribe Collective, that's the name of the Facebook group. So join it. We're your soul tribe, okay? And I was dream journaling. So I had all these pictures and symbols and special messages that I wanted to publish. To make a very long story short, I thought I was going to die. And I thought, if there's one thing I'm going to do before I die, it's publish my books. So it was quite the process, but I got it done. The intention, however, was to publish an Oracle deck. But the problem I was having is I had too much to say. Like, all I wanted to do was go in my dream dictionary, like my dream journal, and it became like my own dream dictionary. But I wanted to take those images and transform it into an oracle and share that knowledge with the world. But every time I tried to do it, I had too much to say. And so basically, like, one card is like one book. So anyways, I'm just kind of scattered right now, but I published 8 books. Then the Oracle came, and it had to do with synchronicity. The universe knew, but nobody talked to me about it, at least that I unconsciously was aware. And so when I was having like all of these dreams and getting this together, I was frustrated that the books came before the Oracle. But what happened was 2024 was the year of the dragon. And so that's why the Dragon Dreams book series had to be published in 2024. Then the Dragon Dreams Oracle, I published it last year in December, on December 22nd. So the season of dreams is December 21st. So this was December 22nd, official season of dreams, which basically goes in alignment with the Dragon Dreams Oracle and dreaming our world into being. And it also has to do with snake energy, because we always start in the south. shedding the skin. So I wanted to kick things off, not in January. I wanted to kick things off in December because that's when we start the season of dreams, So there's always lots to be said. Yeah, I hope that answered your question. There's too much to say actually about the Dragon Dreams Oracle and book series. And so, people who follow me, you've heard all the stories, but then new followers, I'm like, okay, where do I start now? So.
Yeah, absolutely. And you also do RTT. Like you've talked about that a little bit today, but you studied under like Alberto Villoldo to become a shaman, right? Did you want to talk about that too for people that haven't seen your content before? Because a lot of new people are following.
Welcome new members and followers alike. Me too. I mean, that's like my views are increasing. I'm getting more dragons every day. So those of you who are listening now, please like, subscribe, and share. Let other dragon dreamers know about us. They are not alone. So Alberto Villoldo, those of you who don't know me, he runs the Four Winds. So if you type in the letter four winds, you'll find Alberto Villoldo. Basically, Alberto grew up in Colombia, a war-torn country, was a refugee that went to America. He ended up becoming a university professor, working for Harvard, and was living a prestigious life. Like he finally got there, right? And was very respected. And so Big Pharma paid Alberto big money to go to the middle of nowhere where all these shamans lived to learn about medicine, and specifically to bring back medicine and cures for things like heart disease, diabetes, cancer. So Alberto, he's like, all right, off I go. And he went there and he didn't find any of those diseases or ailments in the Amazon and the Peru, nowhere, because like in the forest, like with the shamans, because those ailments are Western ailments. That was very interesting for him to make that connection. So he went back to Big Pharma, who paid for his like funding, and he was like, hey, sorry, but I don't have the answers you're looking for. It turns out that basically when you put the social emotional first, and when you have a relationship with spirit, and you pay attention to your gut and the food that you eat, that's how you stay healthy. Well, wait, what, huh? Big Pharma doesn't like that. You can't make money off of that. And so there was conflict for Alberto, and he ended up leaving his practice. And that became his new matrix with the Four Winds, was starting a business, how to get the Andean medicine wheel and the knowledge to the public. And there's a big history about it, about the North and the South bridging together. So Alberto didn't know that. He was just learning about that. And then the shamans were building trust with Alberto, and they invited him and his colleagues to go to a special ceremony so they could witness the upper world and the lower world here, like all this bridging the North and the South. And he made a documentary about that. The next step now in this progression is to bridge the East with the West. And that means bridging the cultures, bridging the Eastern medicine with the Western medicine, because even though, we just want to do away with prescription medication, respectfully, there still is a time and a place and a need for it, especially in rural communities where things like herbs that are not always available, going back to canning and preserves, right? So that's what Alberto is doing. He is part of a process where he is now helping to bridge the East with the West. And so what led me to the Four Winds is when I was going down my own spiritual journey. I was feeling really freaked out. I was hearing noises like ghost noises and wind whistling kind of noises. And I was trying to figure out like what elemental, the earth, the air, the fire, the water, like maybe what family I came from. And it seemed like the air and the wind, I didn't understand it. And then I was like, oh, the Four Winds, there's, like making these connections. And To make a long story short, I became a shaman. It was not an easy process. And there was a lot of freakiness going on because I was being stalked by the power animals. And that's why it's important to talk about this kind of stuff. And somebody like Alberto Villaldo, who's very respected and has an extensive background, not just academic, but also direct education from the shamans, living with them for seriously like 20 years, okay? He knows his stuff. And when it comes to things like intrusive entities or evil spirits or what happens to your soul when you die, I really don't like to think of anybody as an authority. But in Gina world, Alberto Villaldo, he's a mentor, not like an authority that I can turn to. And when he says things with humility, like, yes, there are intrusive entities, that's real. That means the world to me because it validates that I'm not losing my mind. It validates that there is something going on out there and that there is a medicine that can be applied, like clearing your chakras, balancing them, getting rid of the intrusive entities safely, and then illuminating the chakras and clearing the affinities. So the spiritual, I love it because it works for me personally and my own spiritual beliefs. And then there's and those beliefs are shifting. I didn't realize how hardwired I am. And then with the hypnotherapy background and knowing the rules of the mind and knowing that your mind's number one job is to lie to you, even if it means creating false inhibiting beliefs. Here's the part that might upset people. Did we just invent spiritualism and God and energy medicine to protect ourselves? Is that all part of the illusion? Because is not the spirit and the mind the same thing? It's interesting to me. What is, isn't, what isn't, is these businesses of duality. So then I think about people like Laird Scranton who talk about the material and non-material and how those come together to create life as we know it. And then I think about folks like Alberto Villaldo representing the spiritual side of things. Then I think about folks like Dr. Bruce Lipton, who represent the biology of belief, who can verify and validate that how you think and feel matters to the point that it creates ailments. So all their research reflects and bounces off each other. And Marissa Peer, for what it's worth, she intentionally left spiritualism out of her modality because not everybody is spiritual. So she wanted her modality to be available to everybody. But what's really powerful is I have a lot of respect for Marissa Peer because if you have a client who is spiritual, then use spirituality in your session because it's whatever the client believes. So if a client, for example, is using the language angel, then that's what I use, despite if I believe in angels or not. The client is saying angels, I'm saying angels too. The client is saying ETs, I'm saying ETs. The client says universe, God, I'm saying that. So it's just a testament to your beliefs. The hypnotherapy session doesn't have to have spiritualism incorporated into it. And in my dream life, it can get really interesting because I empower people. And I feel like this is how I do it, is I literally empower people by telling them basically everything around you is an illusion. You write your own Akashic record. You're the God you've been waiting for. You're the one who dictates what you want. If it's in alignment with the code dream that we all have, there's no reason why it can't flourish. So we have a lot of power. And people who are power hungry and control hungry, they don't like that. And when it comes to things like targeting, I don't want to deny that because even with energy medicine, you can hurt somebody with it. You got to know what you're doing. And people who are very powerful, experienced energy medicine practitioners, for whatever reasons, they've gone soured and they're struggling with jealousy and whatnot. We call this black magic. Yeah. So I feel like very tired these days and very exhausted. And I share that publicly. Like, I don't want you to know that I'm on the tired side, but I feel like there's people out there who don't like me talking about this kind of stuff. They don't want me building community. They don't want me promoting things like Soul Tribe. You know, like my voice is so squeaky right now. Why? It's annoying. I don't even want to listen to myself right now. This is because I feel like something out there is preventing me. Maybe it's even me. And that's part of my 8th book, Scary Dreams. Maybe I'm preventing myself because I'm scared of my own success. What if I'm successful? You know?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. This is amazing, Gina. I was just saying, do you want anything you want to say to wrap it up? And this is, I thought this was a great show.
No, so you look really tired there. And I just, usually I catch a lot of the comments there. So I miss them here, but just glad that everybody's doing okay. And appreciate the comments here. Anchor Haven saying, I'm not choosing the Pepsi. And I like that word choice because, you know, I facilitated Julia's session. Julia had the commitment and the conviction to maintain her focus and to commit to not drinking Pepsi. It always boils down to a choice. You're always going to have that little craving, or you'll see a commercial and just for a moment out of habit. But the choice is, oh yeah, redirect the mind. I don't do that anymore. And now that it's been 21 days, it's going to be awesome. And I saw some people saying like, it sounds wonderful. And I appreciate that. Jason was commenting that I put on great conferences and exploring the Kaweth Raw. Laird literally took my topic after I had him on my show. I don't know you, but Laird, for me personally, he's such a wealth of knowledge. And if you're talking the kind of talk like Laird Scranton, reach out to me. I'd love to have you on my show, maybe even as a speaker at my conference. And I don't investigate my guests either. So you might listen to somebody speak, like Rob, for example, and you might be like, actually, I don't agree with any of that. And that's okay, because the whole point is that all perspectives are valid and it's us coming together. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
Rosie will be there too.
Yeah.
So you can find me on Buy Me a Coffee, and it absolutely would be my dragon delight for you to come. And anybody watching this, please like, share, subscribe, let other dragons know that we're out there. You're not alone. We're your soul tribe. We get you. Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. This was awesome.
Yeah. So did you want me to pull a quick card for the collective, or just
if you want, you can. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. We have time. It's not.
Okay. If you fall asleep, I'll just log out.
No, I was trying. I don't know. Something I got real tired of. So maybe because it's early, you know.
Yeah, I'm tired too. You know, like tomorrow's the full moon. It's been a rough week, honestly, for a lot of people.
You know what? I just got to get up and I got to go for a long walk after this. I have an appointment at 3, but I'm gonna make sure I get outside and go for a walk instead of going back to sleep. I don't know.
Okay, this message is coming from Free Will. Oh, this is the Gnome King. So the Gnome King, actually, the Gnome King is a real power card. I didn't even realize when I published this oracle, but the Gnome King, I actually have him as one of my backgrounds. Why don't I just put that up there for you? So for my live hangout, this is my background. You can see the Gnome King a bit better there. So the Gnome King, central figure responsible for bridging multiple worlds and guarding mystical beings like fairies and extraterrestrials. And this makes me excited because fall is just around the corner. I don't wait for the actual number date. For me, like after this full moon, it's the fall. And the Gnome King reminding us of the treasures that we all have that are around us. The oracle is in and around you. The Gnome King will advocate that some secrets are safe for keeping. So you know what? If you see Bigfoot, maybe don't tell anybody. Like,
Mhm.
like maybe if you need to talk about it because it freaked you out, fine. But like if you saw Bigfoot and you just genuinely had like a good experience, like think about it. Like if you're like, hey, everybody, I saw Bigfoot over here at this location. Well, how many people are going to go there in search of Bigfoot? Do you really want to see Bigfoot at the zoo? So this kind of stuff, the Gnome King likes to be a part of. And the Gnome King, wow, like if you like to think critically, reach out to the Gnome King because he will challenge your beliefs, because he challenges you to rise above. He talks about things like the vegan cuisine and being a hypocrite, even though you don't mean to be a hypocrite. A lot of us are hypocrites. He challenges things like, why do you do what you do? Is it because there's a camera watching and that's the only reason why you were honest? Like, would you be as honest if a camera wasn't watching you? So he talks about controlled virtues, and there's a lot to be said about him. So he's everywhere, and he's you, he's me, and he's the one who gifted me the gemstones. He's that guy that plays with sticks and stones and scratches his head trying to figure it out.
Wow.
So
Yeah. Well, this is awesome. Thank you so much, Gina, and thank you, and everybody. Go get your ticket for Gina's conference, and we'll be seeing you on the date of the conference, September 22nd, right?
September 19th. September
Oh,
19th.
sorry, September
Yeah.
19th. Yeah, and you
Click
can use
the link,
code,
folks.
yeah, click the link to buy me a coffee / Gina Virginia Casella. It's up on the screen. Get your ticket. Use the code RobCal. And thank you, everybody. And I might be live later today. I'm not sure, but I got to do some work for other stuff. So, yeah, thank you guys, and have a good.